Hey everybody, welcome to AFTERBUZZ Nashville. This is the finale show and we have so much to talk about. Gunnar finally grows a pair, the Zuckerberg is lonely, and Juliette finally owns up to her shit.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yes. Take me away. Oh, so good.
Woo!
So good.
Such a beautiful and perfect song, and what a great song for the finale, right?
Absolutely. I think it's an allegory for the whole season.
Yes, seriously. Hey everybody, welcome to the season 5 finale of Nashville. I'm your host, Violet Kanian, and I am joined by the beautiful and amazing...
Aw, hi everyone. I'm Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
Oh yeah, the whole Twitter and Instagram
Yeah,
thing. You
where
can follow
can we
me at Violet
follow
Kanian.
There we go.
So let's dive in. There's so much to talk about for this finale. So much drama. So let's talk about Daphne a little bit. I love her character so much, and I love that they've kept her so innocent. She's only going to 8th grade. What did you think about her storyline this
Absolutely.
season?
I thought it was so realistic because it's glad that, yes, Daphne has been through a lot of situations, especially in this past year with her family, but the fact that her biggest problem is trying to be liked by someone else in her class, that is so an 8th grade type of problem that one would have, or one normal person would have. And I'm glad that they're keeping her grounded, but still having that be her biggest issue than the other stuff that she's had to deal with in the past. So I found it very realistic, and it took me back to 8th grade, which was terrible. I was like, oh yes, I know the struggle is real, girl, I know.
Right? 8th grade really sucked.
Oh, it was horrible. But let's not talk about that.
Yeah. She's so mature for her age. I love that about her. And I think Maddie, when she was growing up in the past couple seasons, she's kind of been a wild child more so than Daphne is, and Daphne's the one with the good head on her shoulders. So I really like that. I think her mom would be proud.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I like Daphne. It just showed her innocence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, speaking of innocence, Scarlett and Gunnar.
Ooh, Scarlett and Gunnar. Okay. I'm glad that they both called each other out on their problems.
Right.
Everything that we've been preaching about their relationship for, like, the last few seasons, we're like, yes, at least they're aware and they're telling each other of their problems.
I love that Scarlett... Well, okay, I like that Gunnar came out and he was like, I found my, I'm good by myself, whatever. And Scarlett was like, well, next time I hope you find it on your own and you don't need somebody. I'm like, crap, he can't do anything right with her. But I think he needed to hear that too. And I think whatever he told her that, he doesn't need her. I really like that too. It's like finally,
and also Gunnar calling Scarlett out on her problems. Like, you pick people apart and push away the people that you love. It's like, yes, that's exactly what we're doing, because no one lives up to the standards that is Scarlett. And Gunnar has to find himself on his own, which we've been saying for these past few episodes. So, like, I'm glad they're self-aware of their own problems. But I think it's sometimes you need someone else to tell you it, just so you can actually move on, and like actually move on this problem of theirs, and like face it and just like grow up in a way and mature past it.
Yeah, totally. And I'm still a little confused about why Scarlett wouldn't trust Gunnar. Did I like miss something? Did something happen? Am I forgetting something? Because he said, I know you can't trust me.
I think it's just like maybe they're the infidelities and Gunnar always having...
Oh, those.
Yeah. Gunnar always, being with women and right in front of Scarlett and parading around and having all these female relationships. So, like, I can understand that there's a lot of tension there and a lot of distrust between just relationship in general.
The song they did sing at the Bluebird 35th anniversary was amazing.
As the Crow Flies. I need to download that.
Right? And it was so perfect for everything that they've gone through.
Their life, it was their song, and I loved how it was actually performed because simplicity goes a long way. And the fact that Scarlett's voice was breaking through it just felt so real. Yeah, she got a hold of us. It was so real. And it was that slow breakdown. You can see she was struggling through the song, but realizing this is their life that they're singing on stage to each other. It's like, yes, thank you. If you can't say it to each other in speaking, you might as well sing it to each other.
Right.
Shoot.
Oh, they've gone through a lot.
That was a great song, though.
Seriously.
So on the nose.
Yeah, it was literally. Have we heard that song before? Because it felt like when Gunnar announced it, she was like, "Oh crap, this song."
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that was a brand new song.
Yeah, that was a good song.
What are your thoughts of Gunnar actually saying, "I'm done trying with you"? Do you think they're still on game now, or did Gunnar actually call it?
Okay, so the minute they started singing that song and the way she broke down, I think that she's like, crap, this is the guy for me. And I think we've talked about this throughout the season on AfterBuzz. They're kind of going to be the new Rayna and Deacon, you know, break up, get together, break up, get together, but really deep down know that they've always been the one for each other. And I mean, we can't see them with anybody else, like, really settling down. They're going to date, but what do you think?
I completely agree. There are moments where they're so toxic to each other that they should not be together, but there are other moments when they're so perfect for each other. You're like, why aren't you together? And I think that's just, you know, great writing, great acting, all-encompassing of this relationship. So, yes, it's definitely that Rayna Deacon on off that we still want to watch, even though as vicious as it is to watch it over, that vicious cycle, it's still entertaining.
It really is. They really know what they're doing.
Yeah. At least they're civil now.
Yeah, right. And they're talking now.
Exes usually sometimes aren't really civil, but the fact that they're civil is good.
Yeah.
There's hope there. There's hope. That's the problem.
That's all we can ask for.
Yeah. Just a little bit of hope can go a long way.
Right. And another show that, great writing, great acting.
Oh, yes. So if you guys love Nashville, you'll definitely love this new show that's on the USA Network called The Sinner. It's very, very interesting. If you've heard about it, you should know if you haven't heard about it. The Sinner, it's a new USA limited series. There's only 8 episodes, so watch it now. It follows a young mother played by Jessica Biel, who also is the executive producer of the show, so she's amazing. So it follows a young mother played by Jessica, who, while at the beach with her husband and son, commits a startling act of violence she can't explain. A police investigator is obsessed with uncovering her motive. Together, they discover the violent and shocking secret hidden in her past. The series also starred Bill Pullman and Christopher Abbott. And everyone knows she did it, but no one knows why she did it. Called The Sinner. It airs Wednesdays at 10/9 Central, only on USA Network. I mean, and it's based off of the actual best-selling novel of the same name, The Sinner by Petra Hemsfar. Go check it out. It sounds fantastic.
Really good.
So it's drama, thriller, mystery, everything that I love.
Sign me up. I'm in.
So up my alley. And such a great cast. I mean, you have Jessica Biel, who's like badass woman of the year, and then, you know, Christopher Abbott, also from HBO Girls, which he's fantastic, and Bill Pullman, who loves Bill Pullman. Everyone loves Bill Pullman.
Yeah, totally.
It's great new show that I'm really, really excited for. The Sinner, on Wednesdays at 10/9 Central at USA Network.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so tuning in.
I'm already there.
So now that we're talking about sinners, I'm just gonna go and get into Juliette.
Oh, she's the biggest sinner out of all of them.
And she finally realized it. What did you think when she was finally admitting that she's never gonna change?
Yep. And she realizes this is her vicious cycle. Yeah. Also, it's the same mistakes over and over again, which we've been saying over and over again this whole season. Yeah. We are a broken record when it comes to her. I'm glad she's aware. Again, self-awareness is big key, and actually facing your issues and moving past it. And it's good that she owned up to her actions publicly as well, and professionally. And also, it also showed the humanity within her when she actually did feel bad, and she went out of her way to actually right the situation. So I appreciate that. I don't see Juliette doing that in, like, first, second season. Like, she'll just make a mistake and move past it. But, like, this one, she's actually trying to atone.
In the past.
Yeah,
right.
She's trying to atone her actions, which shows her maturity.
Right. I've always been a Juliette fan. I'm, like, really, really rooting for her to not be this person who makes these horrible decisions. And she just says it was a mistake. I can't go back and change it. But mistakes, like, they happen once or twice. They don't keep happening to, you know.
Yeah.
You're already making bad
She
decisions.
purposely made those.
Right.
They're not mistakes. They're like
And
purposeful actions.
Right, and she almost made it right by sending that email and saying, the song is for you. I almost did it. I'm sorry. And that would have, I mean, I guess it's the writing. We needed this storyline, but that would have really saved her relationship with Maddie. But I do agree that she's finally owning up to it. She's finally doing the mature thing. She made a bad decision. She's going back and trying to right her wrong. So
I really liked that Avery wasn't a part of that.
Right.
Because,
oh my God.
like, Juliette did that on her own. And I'm glad that she did something on her own without Avery's knowledge, without someone else actually pushing her. That was out of her own volition. So I appreciate that. Character growth.
Yes. And let's talk about Avery for a second.
Let's.
That girl that's on tour with him, I don't know what the heck her role is, but she needs to stop. Like, she really needs to stop. She's bothering me.
Too much.
I'm sorry, who are you? Like, why are you getting involved in his story?
I get curiosity, and maybe you're dropping, like, a line of advice here and there, but now it's actually too nosy.
And home-wreckish.
And impersonal and insensitive. It's more so like, kind of like I told you so.
Right.
Rather than actually caring.
And she doesn't
really
know
annoying.
Avery that well. And she doesn't know Juliette at all. So it's like, I'm sorry, but know your role. Step back, because you're not supposed to be doing this. And obviously she had ulterior motives to get to Avery. Yep. Which we saw unsubtle hints. But I'm so happy with what Avery told her. It's none of your business.
It is none of your business. I'm so glad, because I think I mentioned it earlier. It's like, I don't see Avery as the disloyal kind of person who would cheat. I'm like, oh, thank you for...
Like, first season Avery, we would have been like, he's done.
This guy.
Yeah.
Who do you think he is? I know. I was talking to someone else. I was like, Avery was the person who was the most disliked, and now he's like one of the most loved.
I love him.
And then that's just, great acting and great writing. So, totally. I mean, we've come a long way with Avery. But I'm glad that he put that girl in her place.
Totally.
And every time he was on the phone with Juliette, you always heard him was like, I miss you so much. I love you. I was like, yes, because he does actually love her. Yeah, Juliette is a lot, but he loves that
and
about
her. And she has a good heart. At the end of the day, she's not a vicious person. Yeah. She makes really stupid, makes stupid decisions and makes mistakes. But at the end of the day, she's a good person. She's not like, she just had a really shitty way of growing up, and whoever raised her, obviously. But yeah, that was awesome what he did. Yeah, I loved it.
And he dropped everything.
And I thought he was mad. What did you think when he was like, "No, I didn't know," and he's like, "I gotta go home." I thought he was mad.
Oh, I didn't really see it as mad, as more like, I gotta be with my woman right now. So I saw it as like, hey, my woman's in trouble, going through something. I need to be there. So I saw it that. My biggest concern was this was a storm, right in the middle of a storm. This is also the finale. I watched too much television to know something is gonna go down.
We're like, they cannot have this.
We're
many
like, you can't have another car crash.
Right?
I can't take it. And you saw me. I was legit worried for him. I was like, he's driving. He's taking a plane. No, he's not taking a plane. He's driving. I'm like, oh, everything. My mind just went to a bad place, thinking that something bad was gonna happen to Avery. And then when they showed him outside the house, I was like, he made it. He made it home.
Thank you to the writers for not completely changing that story. That was beautiful how it happened.
I was seriously worried for his life. Yeah. But I'm glad that he came back, and they embraced. I was like,
I loved it. I loved it. I think they've had a really, really rough patch, and the whole relationship has been rough. So I'm really happy. I think they're really going towards real, true, genuine love. So I'm very excited for them.
Yeah, and I'm glad. And I'm glad that Juliette's problem is her physical rehabilitation. That's not really a problem with her anymore. So now it's really just them two on the relationship, rather than like the physical
Someone
therapy
them,
or like some outside source that's like hindering on their relationship.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I hope it stays this way, but we don't know because we saw some crazy previews. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Maddie and Juliette. I wish that they kind of resolved this together, their whole issue together. in person, face to face. I wish we got that closure at the end of the season rather than Juliette just doing the really right thing, and then I'm sure eventually Maddie's gonna forgive her because she ended up doing the right thing at the end. But what did you think about that whole storyline?
Yeah, I agree. I still wish that Juliette actually faced her properly. I mean, granted, she tried. But the fact that Juliette rescinded her nomination, and like she did everything right publicly by trying to alleviate the situation. But I think once the family, once once Maddie knows that Juliette went through all this and tried to get dirt on Zach and all this, once the family knows what Juliette actually did to remedy everything, that I think Maddie will be more open to listening. It's like, I know you tried to do right. Forgiveness, because it is a family. I think that was like the underlying theme of this whole episode, was that they are a family. So yeah, they bicker and fight all the time like a family, but at the end of the day, you still have each other's backs.
Right. I think that's absolutely true. I like how the story kind of went with them, and I hope that Maddie kind of sees Juliette's heart and what she did. And it's funny because Juliette was kind of kicked off the label by Deacon, and she's still
rightfully so,
right,
though.
absolutely, because it's like label mates.
You can't come back after that.
You can't do that. But she's still, even after knowing that she wasn't going to be on the label if it was saved, she still went out and tried to save it. So I thought that was very big of her.
I think that's good. Do you think Deacon would actually let her back on the label after knowing that?
I think after she did that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I really wanted Juliette to just buy Highway 65.
You said that, and I wished it happened.
I know, that was my prediction. I was like, the only way that she could save it is actually buy it. She girl's money. She's probably richer the richest out of all of them.
Right.
It's like she has the money to, or put some financial backing into it, so she has ownership. She has actual financial ownership over it. I so wanted that. That's how serious she is, and she's committed to Highway 65, that she put her own money into it. I wanted that.
But then I think on the other end of it, people might think, she's trying to buy her way back into the label, and it wouldn't have seemed genuine at that time. So I kind of like how it played out, but I was kind of hoping for that too.
Yeah, I was like, it makes sense in that situation, but maybe it was too easy to just do that.
When she was like, I know what I'm going to do, and she said, buy the Avery, I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to come.
I was like, maybe buy the label.
But yeah. I like what she did better.
Yeah, no, I agree too. And she even went to the reporter, Mackenzie, who we know what she's capable of.
Right.
So the depths that she went to get any...
She went to the devil.
Yeah, any dirt on Zach. I was like, do it. Do it. Take him down.
And Mackenzie was very good about it.
Yeah.
She wasn't evil about it. So I like that. It showed kind of the good side. This episode showed the good side of everybody and kind of brought back people from the season.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And it's because we know what they're capable of, but when, you put them into certain situations, what will they actually do with the information? Yeah. And she came out with a better story.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Even Juliette is like, but what you can print is actually a great story.
Right? I was like, oh my God, it's going to get good.
Yep.
Oh, man. So, the whole Zach situation. Okay, so I'm going to stick to my word from what I've said this entire season, that he's actually a good guy. Because I still think he's a good guy with a lot of issues. What do you think?
A lot of issues. I never trusted him from the get-go. I know shady men, which is really sad. It's really... I'm very frustrated with Zach. Knowing what he did to his own people, it's like, how much were you in this company?
Right.
Was it really just for the power play? Was it just for business? Because you obviously don't care about these people to do that.
Right.
Take out their power, empty their bank accounts. That's low. But I'm glad Deacon read him on it. Read him like a book.
Right.
That was so good. And you do have to realize, and at the end of that, I did kind of actually feel sorry for Zach. This was the first time you were part of an actual family, people who cared about you and who you cared for, and then you treat them like that. He showed the insecurity with him and how sad and lonely he is, because if you weren't like that and you had people surrounding you who loved you, wouldn't do that to him.
Oh, no, and I think he didn't understand the difference between a family that loves him and people doing what he says. Because let's look at what he's surrounded by. He's this billionaire tech guy who probably has so many yes men that just like, yeah, whatever you say. So he thinks it's genuine, and he thinks those are the people that really truly love him and care about him. Yeah. And now he comes to a place where they do care, but they don't agree with everything. So when he said something to Deacon like, you guys shut me down or something, and Deacon said, no, we just didn't agree with you.
Yeah, we didn't agree with you.
That's simple.
Yeah.
It's a family. You work shit out. I say shit a lot.
No, it's okay. But that's a business, too. You're not going to agree with every creative decision. But that's what a company and a staff and a board should do, is sit down and work out your issues, not take out the power and your money just because you had one tiff.
Right.
Like,
literally,
no,
yeah.
It was literally one problem. But yeah, I'm glad it essentially did get resolved in an episode, rather, because I was worried that this was going to be a big legal issue, but it did get resolved in a more personal way rather than like financial.
The minute I think that Will was walking out on Zach, and Zach wasn't like, oh, well, whatever, and he got really sad about it, I was like, maybe there's more to this guy.
Yeah. And Will opened up Zach's eyes. He was like, these are people I care about. People you're supposed to care about.
Right.
You don't do that. I'm like, yeah, Will.
Yeah, you tell
him. Tell him. I'm good. And I think it's good that the order in which we saw it, that Will was the first one kind of to walk out, and then Deacon coming and actually telling him. I think this episode is really telling everybody else their faults.
Yeah, it kind of was the whole episode. I think it had a lot of themes today. You know,
family.
Finding your true self, family, calling people out.
But what do you do once, like, you know that? Because sometimes the best way to learn about yourself is through other people.
And especially people that care and love you. Because you know they're not just judging you. They're really telling you because they care. So I really liked it. It was very nice. We didn't talk about Jessie, but I'm like in love with this girl. Like, Deacon, get on that, because I
really like Jessie, and there was a moment where that lingering hug, I'm like, this could happen. This could actually really happen, and it didn't. Were you surprised with that?
I was surprised, but I was happy because I didn't want them to move. I thought it would be too fast for them to move like that. They're still really good friends. I want them to become even better friends, and the daughters, Maddie and Daphne, to really like her before Deacon takes that step. And I loved what Deacon told Daphne, I have you and your sister, and that's all I need.
That's all I need.
I was like, oh my god.
What a man.
You're perfect. You're friggin' perfect.
Shoot, where are those type of men? Right? Man, I love that moment. It was sweet, especially like after everything they've been through this season. They needed that moment to just like really be a family. I love that too. But I didn't like Jake.
I thought Jake was a little strange.
Not Jake. Jake was the son, but Brad. Brad is the father.
Think that Jake was a little strange.
Yeah, Jake was.
I guess he's a kid.
He's the product of an unfortunate breakup with that marriage. So like he's in his awkward teen. So I can't really fault him on that. But this Brad guy wanted to take over Highway 65. Like
seriously, calm down. Like, who are you? You're not. No.
Shiny new records and this damn fidget spinners. They were driving me crazy.
Too much. That was too much.
I was like, oh, I see it, because Brad had it, and then Jake had it. I'm like, no. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it was a little too much. And Alyssa kissing Deacon.
What did you think of Alyssa in this episode?
So strange. I thought she was really strange. I really love her, and I love Rachel Bilson, and she plays the character flawlessly. But that whole thing was really weird. It was weird.
It was awkward, uncomfortable. I didn't like it, more so because we've seen other episodes with Alyssa, and she's so nice and caring. And then, Zach did all these horrible things to them, but then Alyssa showed her true colors and talked about loyalty. Sometimes you have to do stuff, and that taints the integrity of stuff. I'm like, who are you? This is not the person who we watched for the person who's like rooting for your talent or doing whatever you can to make them feel better. And now you're like calling, it was just a whole different color on her, and I didn't like that.
I thought that whole scene was unnecessary. The whole kiss was unnecessary. I thought it just made things really awkward. Now they have to work together, and it's even more awkward.
Yeah, and she was laughing, so she wasn't taking it seriously.
I really would have rather her been very sincere and genuine with him and said, you know what, Zach is a different person. Like, you got to get to know something to give us a little hint about the loneliness. Yeah. Maybe if she had seen something and really that's why she likes working with him, anything like that, I would have really liked that a lot more.
Yeah, it was also sad that she was talking about like like you live in a fantasy world, and then she's like, I'm just looking out for myself during the situation, siding with Zach and looking out for herself.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay, so now we know like where your loyalties are, and if you're still going to be working with Zach, how are you if like this label goes through another big problem other than this, like. Are you still in it for yourself?
Right.
Are you still going to care about these people at the end of the day? I don't know. Knowing, like, how you think. I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's kind of changed my opinion on her.
What's up?
Yep.
Yeah, you were so nice. Where did this come from? I think it was more surprising to see this whole different side of her, and I didn't like it.
I
came out of nowhere.
Agree. I think that covers the episode. Do you have any last words about the episode, about the season as a whole?
Oh, well, I mean, we had Maddie performed.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Maddie performed.
Holy
so good.
Smokes, so good. And Katy Perry won, but whatever. Nobody cares.
Katy Perry won. I mean, she's won
awesome,
everything.
so
I'm glad that Maddie didn't win.
I'm happy too, and I'm happy she smiled and she was like, yay, because it's your first nomination. Just, I think she was honored that she was nominated and how everything
humbled.
played out. Yeah.
And I think because she lost too, I think that would also help her get over what Juliette did to her, because literally at the end of the day, nothing really came about it. Yeah, she got good recognition for it, but nothing really more than that. Right. So I think if she had won, I think there'd be a lot more tension now. Like, this is what you did to me. I could have lost this. This could have got to you,
or you only won because Juliette dropped out.
Right. Or something like that. So I'm glad that she didn't win, because I think that's also realistic, too.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, unless you're Taylor Swift and you win every single award your first year.
And you're surprised for each
But you're not Taylor Swift. I loved the music in this episode.
I loved it too. I thought it was perfect. Every song was amazing, and I love that they brought a lot more, like the jamming when they were jamming with the new place that they were working. I really, really love that. We got Casey Musgraves.
Casey was there
in the episode. I love her, and she was singing with the girls. So I really, really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a nice little cap to the season.
Absolutely, and I felt like this was more. Yeah, it was dramatic and kind of went dark in this finale, but the last 5 minutes were lighter for a finale. I'm like, thank God.
I know.
We end on a positive note.
Yeah.
Who knew you could do that in a show?
Who knew you could do that in Nashville?
I know, right? There's always drama.
Right? We've always ended and started with a lot of drama.
I loved how, if you think about it, the first episode of this season, Rayna's by herself in that convertible. And now to tail and bookend this season, now it's Deacon and the girls in the same convertible.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I did not even make that connection.
Yeah. I was like, that's the same convertible.
Wow. In LA too. I think Rayna was in LA too.
Yeah, Rayna was in
some time. Yeah, right?
Rayna was in a different place. And she talked to that one guy who was, I don't want to say hobo, but he was like out there in the open street area. And she was bonding over with that song that she grew up there, like the wayfaring soldier traveling.
It's been a long season.
I know. I'm surprised I remember this.
That's awesome.
That was so long ago.
I love that you brought that up. That's great. I wonder if the viewers caught that too. So let us know if you did.
Yeah, I just thought about that convertible. I was like, oh wait, we started the season with her driving like
significance, but I couldn't. I was like, okay, they're happy, they're free, and
they're free. They're free of issues as of right now.
As of right now.
As of right now. I loved this season.
It was. I want to take a moment. We wanted to thank CMT for first of all saving the show.
Yes.
And second for making it so flipping good.
Yes.
I honestly think, although we didn't have Rayna for most of the season, this was one of the best seasons that Nashville has ever had. Each episode was so good. The writing, the editing, the shooting, the lighting,
everything.
Every aspect was so beautifully done. And I'm like so happy it's still on CMT and they're coming back.
Yeah, congratulations to CMT and Nashville bringing back the show, bringing us back together because we're like, oh, that's it.
Right.
And we didn't think we'd be hosting again, but here we got another season and another one.
And another one, January.
So I'm glad for that. And you can definitely tell that they love the show.
And I think that's the difference.
Like, they're putting their actual time and effort into the show. And you can see other networks, and I won't say which ones, but, like, they're like, okay, let's just put whatever into it and then call it a day.
Right.
But, like, this one, they actually, like, there's a lot of tender love and care to this one.
Because it's kind of it's their life. It's the culture.
Yeah.
And it fits so perfectly.
And it shows. Just like that opening, that first shot of Deacon when he's in the building office and you see all of Nashville. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you can't show that in
you
other
can't really get
shows,
that everywhere. So
yeah, so there's a lot of love on this show.
Love it. Any last words before we finish the season?
Ooh, I don't know. This was such a great season. I can't wait for next season.
I know.
January.
I think we kind of figured it'd be January. They started this season in January. It took a long break, so I hope there are no more huge breaks.
Yep.
Just keep going.
Yep. We love it, but I mean, I think that brings us to predictions.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Predictions. Well, I had the I thought my prediction was going to come right with Juliette winning, but that was like my only prediction that I had. Do you have any?
I'm not so much a prediction, just kind of like let's talk about what we saw from the preview for next season with Avery not finding Juliette and calling her phone and it's disconnected. I don't know. All I'm going to say is I hope that it doesn't mean that Juliette left because maybe she thinks she's not good enough to be there for them. Because kind of got a hint of that this last episode.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
You know, always making mistakes and things like that. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's just like a very big tease.
Okay. I think Scarlett and Gunnar are going to be in different relationships. Because they called each other out and they're finding each other being single. Now they might find each other with other people. Especially since Gunnar said the line, "I'm done trying with you." I was like, oh, that opens the door to all these other people that he could be dating. Not that I'll like
That's
it,
true.
But I think we'll definitely see them with other people.
And I don't think we've ever seen them both at the same time having somebody else. It's always one or the other, and the other person getting jealous. So this might be might be nice.
And I think Deacon's definitely going to take over Highway 65. I mean, he was kind of thrown in, unfortunately, in the chaos and like picking up the pieces where everything left off. But now I think he's like really going to take over. And if Zach is still there, which I still don't like, knowing the kind of person he is, hopefully a lot of great things will come out creatively out of Highway 65. If they sign more people, if they sign the girls,
oh my gosh,
yeah, see that. I mean, sign Daphne.
Yeah, Daphne.
She can. I mean,
seriously, that's like
kids' albums are successful.
Yeah,
why
and she's
not?
already getting to the age where she can get a lot of, you know.
I feel like a lot of high school drama is going to be with Daphne now. If she's going to like 8th grade, I think she's going to get all those prepubescent teenage stories.
I think she's got a good head on her shoulder. I think she's going to be great.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm excited for January. I can't wait. I hope we have our whole cast
crew
here back. Yeah. I think that's it. That's a good way to wrap it.
Yep.
Where can they find you, Marisa?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And you can find me everywhere at Violet Kanian. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all season.
Follow JJ and Whitney at
and JJ.
JJ Jurgens and Southern_Wit.
Yep. Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Ready? Buzz y'all later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.